Hello adoring fans, Matt here. I've gotten some requests to talk about the tools that I keep in my car. You can keep pretty much whatever you want, but most of us are limited by space. We also don't necessarily want to have a giant toolbox with wrenches rattling all around. And so how do you keep it? What do you keep in the trunk? And then what do you really need and what don't you? So in all of my cars I keep a tool roll like one of these. I'll show you what I've got in it. Let's take a look.
Right. I like these tool rolls because it kind of keeps everything from rattling around a bit. All right, now, what do I keep in it? So, for starters, you're always going to need some screwdrivers. So I keep some that have different bits that you can hold inside the screwdrivers. For my cars, with the British ones, I use a set of slotted bits, and I also have some posi drive bits. You want to make sure that you keep those with you. I have, again, being into British cars, most everything in here is going to be electrical in nature, so I keep a set of wire cutters, I keep a set of pliers with me. Let's see, what else have I got in here? I have a battery terminal cleaner. This is great for the external posts on your battery, and then you can also undo that bit and you can get inside the wire clamp that ties down to the battery. So you can do a bit of electrical cleaning and solve 90% of the electrical issues that you're bound to have while you're driving along. I have a socket set in here, but that's because my tool roll allows for it and I've got an extra socket set, so why not? But you really don't need that. What you can do is just have some basic wrenches, and you want to have these in whatever the common sizes are for your car. Inch or metric. Most British cars, most of the classic British cars are going to be inches, so look for an SAE set. You've obviously got your tire gauge, you want to be able to check that. I've got some test leads and some extra wire. This would be if you wanted to see, well, I'll run a new wire and see if it works. Test leads are a great way to do that. And I've got a nail file that I got that at a nail salon my wife was at. The points in her car weren't working properly, and I didn't have a proper tool with me, so I went and just filed them down with one of these. I borrowed it from somebody, and they told me, well, just keep it now. So free nail files works great for filing down points, spark plugs, what have you. And then, of course, you do need to be able to re-gap them, which is why in here I've got a set of feeler gauges. You are going to need a spark plug socket, and you can have, like I do, a ratchet that you keep handy with you so that you can use that. But if you don't have the space or don't want to keep a set of ratchets around with you because it just adds weight and takes up room that you can use for other tools, most spark plug wrenches have something where you can put a wrench on the end. There's a hex end on it, and so if you've got a wrench that's an appropriate size, you can still use that wrench and get at your spark plugs that way. So I've got a magnet pickup tool down here. Again, a lot of the British cars, if you have a set of Zenith Stromberg carburetors that adjust through the top, this is the tool. I keep one of those. Always some zip ties. There are various sockets in here. Again, you don't really need sockets. You can make do with wrenches, but it's kind of convenient to have them. I keep some electrical tape up here so that in case I do end up needing to repair a wire on the go, I could always come home and solder it and do a better job. But if I just need to get home and the headlights aren't working properly, it really helps to just splice in some wire, tie it by hand, wrap it up with the electrical tape, get home, and then do a proper repair on it. And speaking of electrical stuff, it's also worth keeping some fuses. A note on these are, you'll notice they're blue in color, and these fuses are 35 amp British fuses, which you can get from a number of different suppliers, but the difference is that they are slow blow fuses. And what that means is they're rated at 35 amps, but that's when they're designed to blow very quickly, instantly. They're rated to also handle 17 amps continuously. And if you get, say, 20 amps, you might get 20 amps for a little bit before it blows a circuit. And that's intended so that
On that cold day, maybe the wipers are a little bit iced up and you turn on the wiper motor, it just needs that bit of extra oomph to get going. That's what it's intended for, so that you can have extra amps drawn by different components, and as long as those extra amps aren't continuous, it's safe, it's not going to hurt the wiring harness, and that's what those fuses are designed to protect against. So make sure you have some extra fuses that are appropriate for your car. So those are important to have. I've got just a simple razor blade here in case there's something that I need to cut. A test light, invaluable tool. If I could recommend one electrical tool to have with you, keep one of these. If you're not sure something's working, this is the best way to do it. And try and find one, if you can, that's not LED. Use an incandescent bulb. Because an LED will work, it'll operate with very, very small amounts of electricity, whereas this bulb is going to take a bit more oomph. And so if you have something that's just barely working, an LED test light is still going to light up. So try and get one with a bulb that's going to take a little bit more voltage. And then finally, in my toolkit, I have a multimeter. You definitely don't need to bring this with you. 99% of stuff you're going to be able to diagnose with a test light. But, you know, again, if you've got the room and you have an abundance of multimeters, bring one with you. It's not going to hurt anything. So this is sort of my more comprehensive toolkit. Again, you don't need all of these things. If I could take things out of here that you don't really need. I guess the multimeter you don't really need, screwdriver obviously you do. You could probably do without the sockets, so you don't need the ratchet, you don't need the sockets that are in there. I'm not going to take all those out right now. One thing you should bring if you do have space is some zip ties. I keep those. And then up here in the corner you'll notice that I've got some wire. This is just simple steel wire. It's meant to tie things. And so if the exhaust hanger lets loose, I can find a spot on the car, tie it back up, and just hold it with wire. Again, the whole idea of this is to get the car operational so that you can get to somewhere where you can do a better repair. You're not going to want to fix things on the side of the highway. You're just going to want to get the car off the road and to a place where you can deal with whatever comes up. But even still, a lot of the problems that you're going to have while you're on the road, these will take care of it. If you still run points, you've got your feeler gauge so that you can take care of that. You'll need a couple of screwdrivers, which I have. If you have, let's say, a loose belt, and you need to tighten the alternator or generator. Again, your wrenches will take care of that. One thing that I would actually add to this, I've got a set of wrenches, but I've only got one set, so there's only one 9/16, 1/2 inch. Something that I have borrowed from my toolkit and I've forgotten to put back is I usually keep an adjustable wrench. I don't like using adjustable wrenches on bolts, but if you have something with a bolt on one side and a nut on the other and you really need leverage on both pieces, well, the adjustable wrench will serve to hold the nut in place while you undo the bolt with whichever wrench is appropriate for the job. And then that way it's possible to have two 9/16 or two 5/8 if you need them. And it will work great for smaller sizes too. And then finally, I like these multi-bit screwdrivers because you can take the bit out and you've got a 1/4 inch socket here. And if you take the 1/4 inch socket out, you've got a 5/16 one. So you've got a multitude of different tools that you can use. Again, if you have one of these and you've got British cars, it's great having the slotted side, but instead of Phillips, keep a bit or two around if you can find one for posi drive. Phillips head will work in a pinch, but posi drive is really what most of those supposed Phillips head screws on a British car are going to be. And that's pretty much it. Now, you can buy individually a lot of these tools, and it tends to add up price-wise. Most of these tools come in sets, and so you end up buying sets of wrenches, sets of screwdrivers, sets of pliers. If you want good tools, like something from Snap-on, the price tends to be a bit higher too. And so you can put together a set like this. You can find these tool rolls if you look around hard enough. You can usually come up with those. But this is the set that I've created. If you're interested, on our website, which is mwmotoring.com, I've assembled some of these toolkits for you.
The price is pretty much in line with about what you're going to go out and spend if you were to buy the tools individually and then get the tool roll, put it all together. That's not really going to be all that different. So think of it as a service I'm providing to you where I put this stuff together for you. You can have a set of tools in your car. We'll have a variety of different styles, so you can get kind of these are the cheap tools that you should probably have in the car with you versus I don't like cheap tools, and so get me some more premium ones. We can do that too. But check out the website, see if that's something you want. I'll post a link in the description below. And speaking of the description below, if you've got questions, post your comments below, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you have already, then thank you very much. We definitely appreciate it. Let us know if you have any questions, and otherwise, make it a great day.